And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hello.
And we got a lot of things to get through today.
Yeah.
Starting with Jason Mamoa.
Oh, you had
Dude,
to...
I was like, Tyler sent me a list of what we're going to talk about today. Jason Mamoa, he sneaked it in at the end. I had to know what it's about. I don't understand. Is it the Fast and Furious movie?
First off,
All right. Preface.
I commend you on saying sneaked
Yeah.
and not snuck.
That's not a word.
I know. I say it all the time, but congratulations on that. Anyway, so Chelsea and I
didn't know that was
went through
a debate.
It's not a debate, but people say it all the time, and it's just like sneaked still sounds weird to me.
Was that a shot at your wife?
No, not at all. Well, she might say it, but
I thought that's what you
I say
said.
snuck all the time, but
I
sneak
see.
still sounds weird to me, but I know it's right. So I always do this double take of, anyway.
Got to be really conscious about it.
Jason Mamoa.
Yeah, he's an actor.
He is an actor, probably best known for Aquaman.
Probably. What was he in before that? I don't even know.
He was in Game of Thrones, right?
Never heard
was
of
he
it.
in Game of Thrones? Yeah, he was in Game. Probably best known for Game of Thrones.
Probably best known for Game of Thrones.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I would say if I had to put money on it, Aquaman. I think it's a bigger audience than Game of Thrones, but
Probably. Worst movie, though.
Of DC.
No, it's worse than Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Worse than Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Is it the worst DC movie? Probably not.
No.
I don't know what that would be.
That would
Blue
be
Beetle?
Suicide Squad is up there.
One?
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually
Wow.
the other thing
What?
I wanted to put on the list because
Suicide Squad 1 was like okay for a little bit. Then it kind of fell off a cliff.
So I don't know if you're getting this in your algorithm now, and I have this like you know how they did the Snyder cut, right? And it was like a whole thing, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I promise we'll get back to Jason. But you had the Snyder cut. It was like this whole thing, like release the Snyder cut and whatever. So David Ayer did Suicide Squad, but he has his cut.
Wait.
I'm talking the OG. I'm not talking about the new one that James Gunn did.
Will Smith was in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So there's a cut.
There's a dark, gritty cut. So I don't know if you remember the original Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah.
Very different than what we got is the movie. The movie was a comedy, but the comedy wasn't funny because it wasn't supposed to be. It was just cut that way and just isn't great.
Yeah.
So anyway, my algorithm is force feeding me the Ayer cut, and it's like I'm expecting that to like show up soon.
Oh.
So like John, who's the guy that was in Walking Dead and played Punisher? John Barthol or whatever.
Yep.
He has a podcast, and he just interviewed David Ayer, and they were talking about it and like how he's like that movie like broke him, and he had to like go away and kind of like reset and stuff.
Jeez.
Just because they like apparently Deadpool came out to critical success because it was funny as heck and really good.
Yeah.
Batman v Superman failed.
Yep.
Because plenty of reasons.
That might be the worst.
So then
movie.
the studio comes in and says, all right, we're recutting this to be closer on the Deadpool scale. So between Batman v Superman versus Deadpool, Suicide Squad went more Deadpool versus more of a serious, gritty, whatever. So anyway, I don't know what I was talking about, but that, like, now that I said that and your phone picked it up, I'm sure you'll start seeing these things. Yeah, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
So anyway, Chelsea and I were watching Fast and Furious. She started watching, I think, 1 and 2
The best ones.
without me. Yeah.
Best ones.
So I missed out on the best ones.
Yep.
Skipped Tokyo Drift, I think, and then went through.
Good.
I think I came in maybe halfway through like 4 or something like that, and I keep looking over at her, and she's not paying attention, so it's fine.
That's where I fell off.
Yeah.
It
Well,
started
5 is good. 5 is when the Rock came in. And
I was out.
I don't typically like The Rock, and I know that's not like a popular opinion, or it might be nowadays. I don't know.
He plays the same character in every movie.
He does, but it fits this universe. Like, it's fine. But
Because
in
it's ridiculous.
5, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
In like every movie, it's
I thought
the
he was a
bad
cop
guy.
or something, though.
He is.
Oh, okay.
But he's like the cop that gets results. So if he has to...
But he doesn't have a mustache.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't.
You cannot be a cop that gets results without a mustache.
Well, he didn't get the results because he didn't win at the end.
That makes sense. Okay, continue.
But he goes through and does all this stuff, and then like you have 5, which I thought was pretty good. 6, I thought was really good. Really pretty good.
Yeah.
7 started getting like what, and 8 is worse, and 9 is worse, and 10 is bad, with the exception.
And here it comes
of Jason Mamoa, who I think might be one of my favorite villains I've seen in a movie
ever.
No.
Just say it.
In recent memory, I think Jason Momoa would be a good Joker.
Bond villain?
No, he's too wacky for a Bond villain. And I know there's some, but Bond takes everything really seriously.
Which Bond?
I mean, I guess Daniel Craig. Like if they redo it, and it's like Idris Elba versus
Austin
Jason
Powers
Momoa
villain
or something, he could be
not wacky enough.
Yes, not wacky enough. He's too good of an actor,
right in the middle.
I think.
So Joker is in the middle of a Bond villain,
yeah,
and an Austin Powers villain.
You know what? That's a great paper. We could probably write that. Yeah.
I'm curious on ChatGPT's take on where Joker falls on the scale of seriousness.
Jason Momoa keeps going between these things of like he's like in a suit, really angry, gruff, like Aquaman, stone face, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's like shots of him, and that's how you see him in the trailer and stuff. But then he's like dressing up in pigtails and just murdering people, and then having a tea party with them, and laughing maniacally and making jokes and doing just wild things with like he's like, here's a rocket launcher, and just blows things up, and he's like, he has guys around him, he's like, all right, and he's like, it's dumb, but he's like remote controlling this massive bomb rolling through Italy or whatever it is.
Right.
I think it was Italy.
Yeah.
And he was talking to like his like quote unquote henchmen around him and stuff, and he's like, all right, what are we gonna blow up? And one of it, what was he? It was like where the Pope lived.
Vatican.
Thank you, man. My brain.
He's
like, all right, where are we gonna blow up? And he's like, the Vatican. Oh, you're going to hell. And then like just, I'm not doing it justice.
No, it's
but
good.
he was very.
Keep going.
He was very good.
Okay.
It was funny. It was really well done. I think 11, because the problem with 10 is spoilers. Actually, I probably shouldn't. Spoilers, because it's a fairly new movie. But 10 and 11 are coming out. They did the classic, it's the last ride, let's split the two movies or whatever.
Yeah.
He gets away at the end, right? Like he is, I guess what I'm saying is he's a better villain than like all the other villains of those movies.
Yeah.
So I could see them like hanging their hat on like, okay, this is the final showdown. And you would think that introducing like the biggest of the bad at the last movie with no build up, no nothing, I think they'll get there with how he portrayed it in this first movie going into the second movie.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So Jason Momoa carrying the Fast and Furious franchise. Do they race anymore? Is there any racing at all?
That's the biggest problem. There was more of it in this one,
really?
But not.
Jesus.
I want to say 7 or 9 was like the biggest.
You
offender,
realize that
where it was straight up like a Jason Bourne movie without the cars.
You realize that Fast and Furious is Dragon Ball Z. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
100%. So Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, used to be about martial arts.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And about finding the Dragon Balls, and they grant us a wish.
Yeah.
Cut to 2020, where we're fighting gods.
Yeah.
Universes are blowing up.
Dragon Balls really don't matter.
Well, there's the Super Dragon Balls now.
Of course there
which
are.
grant you a super wish.
What's the difference between I probably shouldn't ask this. What's the difference between a super wish and a wish? Because you can raise people from the dead.
Shenron is pretty inhibited by what he can do. You can raise people from the dead once, I think. I'm very hazy on the rules here.
So super wish.
It can only be probably from that universe. There are 12 universes.
I'm out.
There used to be 16. 4 of them got destroyed because the god of everything's like a child and he gets bored.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this child god put together this universal tournament of all the universes, and it was this battle royale, and they had 2 minutes to beat the shit out of each other, and the last person standing was the only universe that survives. Wow, it was crazy. It was actually really good arc. It was fucking wild.
It sounds crazy. But then how do you go from there?
I don't know, but they are they're still going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought we were done after he turned Super Saiyan 3 and a pink blob was destroying the fate of the world. I thought we were done after that, but we're not. Not even close.
You know who wrote Fast and Furious?
Who?
David Ayer.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, Fast and Furious is I was out on it. It's just so crazy. Here's a question for you though. How fast could John Wick end a Fast and Furious movie? How fast till the plot's just resolved because he just destroys everyone?
Oh, I mean,
or you think he'd have trouble?
He
could solo it, right?
I'm not a big John Wick believer. I love the movies.
Wow.
I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
But he should have been dead 50 times over.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though.
So it's
how do you stop him? How do you stop him?
You put him against Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne takes him out from a mile away.
You guys were not saying that to me when we were watching them.
I was telling you that. Kyle was saying no. 100%.
You guys were shitting on me for that. 100. No.
What?
No. Yes, who were? You guys were telling me how terrible Jason Bourne was. I was like, guys, this guy will never see him coming.
You're trolling me right now.
No, I'm not.
You're trolling me.
You and Kyle were getting up on me 100%.
Absolutely not.
Yes, you were.
Oh, my goodness.
Ask Kyle. Ask Kyle.
You're acting like I'm not I'm calling him the moment we stop.
Done. There's no way I was getting bullied by you both.
I was a Jason Bourne apologist.
You were trolling.
I was absolutely not trolling. I love Jason Bourne movies.
I love Jason Bourne movies.
My whole premise, because we were going to do the whole top hitman, top 5 hitmen or whatever.
Yeah.
Jason Bourne.
Do they both lose the Agent 47? Is that
100%. Agent 47 just crushes both of them because you never see them. That's the whole point. But my whole point was
you don't see Bourne coming though a lot of the time.
You don't, and that's why he would wreck.
Yeah. But if they got into a fight, it's over.
Yes.
Although Bourne can hold his own.
Yeah,
but John Wick's pretty good.
John Wick. Look, I love John Wick. I think those movies are better than the Bourne movies. Probably. It's like a 50-50 because I think the first...
I will say the Bourne movies get better as they go on, minus the newest one that came out, which I don't even pretend was real
the story gets more interesting.
The third one's my favorite, actually.
Ultimatum. Yeah.
I actually think it goes 3, 2, 1.
I would go 3, 1, 2, but sure, I could flip
maybe I would do that too. But what I'm saying is John Wick actually gets worse as it progresses. The first is easily the best.
Yeah.
2 was good. 3 was good-ish.
I liked a lot of
4
was...
Yeah. It's all right, maybe it's time to give it up.
It
still wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
They're doing a spinoff.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for the hotel.
I just don't care.
Yeah, it was part of it is okay, it's cool that you're establishing a kind of universe, but it's not that cool.
Yeah.
It's like a throwaway thing. It's oh, cool. It has its history and stuff. It's not I don't want a show on it.
You don't have enough.
I'd rather have a good Lord of the Rings show. That's what I'd rather have.
Yeah.
What a fucking waste.
Tell you what, speaking of, two quick show call outs. One, Wheel of Time.
Yep.
Pretty interesting.
You didn't read the books?
No. I was hoping that I watch season 1 of Wheel of Time, which it should be the first book-ish.
Yeah.
And that would be enough for me to get into.
Well, you're a big book guy. Huge book guy.
I am.
And speaking of Kyle, he loves those books.
Yep.
Those are his favorite, I think, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he named his dogs after them. Yeah.
Jesse and Clytus.
Yep. Yeah.
Nailed it.
No, Perrin and Lan. The problem is Perrin seems kind of not a good person right now. So it's an odd choice. I'll be interested to see his arc.
It's an arc.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah. Second show, Ahsoka is actually pretty good. Yeah.
I saw people freaking out about it. I'm out on Star Wars. I'm just out.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's the thing.
All right.
And research department has a very well written mansplain me the episode. No, I'm just kidding. No, he did a very good job, kind of like, hey, look at all these artful choices done in the show. Some of which I absolutely missed, and it was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I've seen like the thread of like flashbacks from like the Clone Wars and different things. Not like I don't want to spoil it, but it's like
he's a fan of that. He loves Clone Wars, and
as you should. Like
it's like
it's very, very Star Wars.
Oh
now,
yeah.
On the flip side, we have friends that adamantly say that Jedi are the worst part of Star Wars and like that whole thing. And it's more interesting not to have that. In which case, I can also kind of agree with
Nate,
Kevin. Actually,
Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like big lover of Rogue One, right?
Yep.
That kind of thing. Which
it's a good movie.
Andor, awesome. Like makes a very good point, and they've done Jedi pretty poorly as of late.
Yeah,
I think Ahsoka does a pretty good job. You have your lightsabers and different things, but it's beyond that. Like you're seeing other characters and whatnot. And it's essentially, hey, you liked Rebels, right? What if we made that live action?
But it's a continuation.
Yeah.
So you must because you really liked Rebels.
I did finish Rebels.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And while I think they probably should just make more Rebels.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So episode 5 was the big one. I think 1 through 4 dragged a little bit. And I actually even said as much. Like every shot is so artfully done and well framed and looks really good. But the problem is like, I don't need to see a pensive, thoughtful stare from every actor. So it's like you have Ahsoka saying something to someone off camera, and then just like 5 seconds to 10 seconds of zooming in on her face as she like stares off into the distance, right? It's just every character does that. And then 5 was interesting because it did all the flashback stuff, way better CGI stuff going on. So like the de-aging stuff and different, like it's like well done, way better than like Obi-Wan even.
Yeah.
So good on that. But then episode 6, my boy Thrawn shows up.
Uh-oh.
So you get the final, like
blue guy?
the first live action version. Lars Mikkelsen plays him, who voices the guy in
Rebels.
Voices Thrawn in Rebels.
Yeah. How do you do?
I think he did well, with the caveat, maybe doesn't have the body of a like super fit military chiss. Like, don't get me wrong, delivered his lines really good. I think the makeup looks pretty convincing. Like his eyes are okay. But like his outfit seemed baggy. And like as he's walking down, like they did like this big like shot of like this Star Destroyer coming in and like going down, and like, you know, all these stormtroopers are there, and I could get into the lore of all that stuff. But like you see him walking down this aisle of stormtroopers, and maybe this is just me and my little quirks, but like I always see how straight somebody can walk. Right? So
that's psychotic.
It's dumb, I know. But if you look at it, he's starting to like, he like weaves a little bit, and his clothes are a little bit baggy-ish, which I think are trying, like they made him, it seemed like they made him larger to look like they were form-fitting-ish. But again, he's not, like, he's an older dude. Like, he has like an older dude body. Yeah. And I'm not, like, I don't want to shame him at all, but it's like all these books, it's all like Thrawn is like just peak, he's like just perfect. Like he is training, perfection, cut, like brilliant, like whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy was like a dude, right? It was like almost like cosplaying him.
Yeah. I could see where like not walking in a straight line, baggy, like as like a general, it seems like his character is very much like he has every little detail put together.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like he walks perfectly straight. Like one guy's out of line in that line, and he stops and he'll turn around. And you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And shoot him or something.
And all the troopers and everything was perfect.
Yeah.
And you could probably write it off like, hey, he's been marooned on this planet for.
Yeah, but that's what makes him even cooler. Where it's he keeps it together.
Yeah.
It's like you can't stop this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have like a couple like whatever you want to call them, Fallen Jedi, Gray Jedi.
Now imagine
Sith,
they made
whatever
fucking
that are in there.
789 about that, I don't know.
100%.
Like, can you imagine that? It's like it's all there for you.
Here's what's going to happen. And so Dave Filoni's the guy doing all this, right? And he's like if you're going to trust somebody, it's him, right? To do Star Wars,
I trust him with my life.
Yeah, well.
No, I don't. But sure.
What's going to happen is they'll eventually get ballsy, and they're like, hey, we need to make some money.
Yeah.
They'll do the movies.
Yeah.
Like 3 new movies, right?
Yep.
I will be interested to see if he would even accept it and if they would ask him to do that.
It's doomed. It's doomed. It's doomed. What can they do?
Give him a bigger budget. Like, I can only imagine, like, the shots in this show are awesome looking. Like, they have really, really good set pieces. So for me to see what he could do with like an actual full-blown like Disney Star Wars budget,
Yeah.
that's exciting to me.
No, I mean it'd be sick, but like, just like, dude, how do you follow that shit? Dude, it's so bad.
Oh, you essentially just ignore it. I don't know if you would, but
just
you
takes me out of it.
it.
It's just like, I don't know. I'm lost. I'm doomed.
They're essentially ignoring it now.
I know, but it's like, how do you ignore it? They don't even ignore the prequels.
Yeah, they definitely don't ignore.
They definitely don't ignore them.
They're embracing the prequels hardcore.
Because the prequels are not that bad.
Some might say the best.
That's ridiculous, but they're not that bad. And we saw that on display with the fucking sequels.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I just can't do it. I can't do Star Wars. I can't do Marvel. I'm just like so dead inside when it comes to that shit. Like, I don't care at all.
And nothing I can say will like loop you in.
No.
Right? Like, it's like, I totally understand that.
And the more that comes out with it, the harder it will be to get me back in. Because now I'm just further and further and further behind.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. They're just piling all this shit on. And I think Calvin was talking about this, where it's like I think they realize that, and they're just trying to go off of the audience they have, Mm-hmm. And they're just milking that.
Yeah.
They're not trying to bring new people in. That's not the focus, I guess.
Yeah. I think that if you go off the audience, like, it's like there's all the lore that has already been, right? So it's one of those things, like, if done correctly, you can get new people in by being like, oh, this is a new weird thing. That's really cool. And then they go backwards and start looking at all of the other, movies and TV shows and the Legends books and all of that stuff. And I just think it's worth giving him the reins and trying it out. Like, what's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. You can't ruin it any worse than it's ruined.
Right. So
it's ruined.
Ruined. Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I think that
that's good.
It dragged in the beginning, and now I'm very much looking forward to Tuesday's episode, just to see where they're going with it. Because they're already like 7 in. Like, there's not
what
that
are they
many
doing?
episodes.
Like 10?
I assume.
10,
I honestly don't know. Yeah,
8 or 10 seems pretty standard these days. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad you're liking it. Like, look, I support anyone who gets enjoyment.
Like Thrawn, man. That's it.
Thrawn's cool. Yeah. Dude, man, I just don't understand. Like, you have all these amazing books. Like, the adaptation, I mean, it's the script is fucking there.
Yeah.
You just need, like, a good director,
mm-hmm.
right? You need good cinematography. You need good actors. And I know it's easier said than done, but, like, one of the hardest parts of writing a movie is done for you. Like, the idea is there. The beginning, middle, and end is written. It's good. Like, provenly good.
Right, yeah. Like, people like this.
People so it's like, I don't know, man. I always go back to Lord of the Rings. Like, that's how you do an adaptation.
Yeah, but then look at Amazon's. It was not good.
Yeah. God. Maybe it's because it's like...
It was pretty, but it was not compelling.
Maybe it's like you need it to be a movie. It can't be a TV show. You need the budget. But that's not really true, because like Game of Thrones was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, would they have $400 million or something? Like, no, they had the budget.
Well, I don't know. Like, why was it so bad? Again, it's just like fucking, you have the blueprint.
Yeah, it's not compelling. It's just not interesting stuff. Like, it's, I get what they're doing,
but it
like,
should be.
The stakes are not there. Like, the thing is with Game of Thrones, you don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
The
you can
intrigue.
obviously, depending on like if you read the books and all, blah blah blah. But like the books weren't done. You could like so like there was that like office poll of who's gonna die, right?
Yeah.
Like who's gonna
Yeah.
make it or whatever. And the new one even, and I guess it might be based off of a books there or something, but like I had no idea what was happening, and it was just like, this is interesting. It's more compelling. It's literally less than half the budget of Lord of the Rings, and they just do way more with less.
Then Lord of the Rings? The TV show or the movies?
Yeah, no, the TV shows,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings came out at the same time, and it got to the point where it was just like we were watching Lord of the Rings just because it was like part of our like weekly schedule of
Yeah.
programs to watch.
Yeah.
But like we didn't care.
Well, it was like about the Second Age, right? It was the Silmarillion. I think it's what it's called. It's like it is Tolkien's collection of, and it's a little different because it's not really a story, whereas like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings are a story or whatever. Right?
Yeah,
It was more a collection of like notes and stuff.
They made it. It was interesting where it was like you saw this big dude that gets like he's like this like wizard guy, and you're just like, who is he? You know, like is it Gandalf? Is it because you just don't know?
Yeah.
And they kind of come full circle with him, and at the very end, spoilers, but in the very end of the season, this big event happens, and this area that you saw throughout, like, basically just erupts, and then it's like the name of the area on the screen, how it like shows you locations, fades out, and then Mordor fades in.
Oh,
super cool!
That's cool.
And it was like, oh, that's really neat. Like, but I had to go a dozen episodes to get to that one cool scene. Like, it didn't pay off for me. But
no,
that was cool.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like, you think they could ever do a movie after the events of the books? Or is that just impossible?
Why would you want to, man? I don't.
It's a great world. It's a great world.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't think. Here's the thing with that.
How is it not?
No, it is.
It's like one of the most
sure.
famous fantasy worlds of all time.
But okay, so you have Dave Filoni, who people trust to take the reins from Lucas, right? Because he loves the source material so much. And blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And is a proven good director and good ideas and everything.
Right.
Who would you do for
I don't know.
Lord of the Rings?
Someone out
like,
there is a super fan.
Like, would you trust Peter Jackson to come in and do that? Because if you recall, he did the 3 movies of that tiny little Hobbit book.
Yep.
Maybe not the best. Like, well directed, like good shots mostly, like fine, but like ton of CGI starts bubbling up, a ton of, it's like
losing his touch.
Well, I don't even know if it's losing his touch because I really like Peter Jackson as a director. I just like, you had really good source material. Congratulations.
Well,
King
The
Kong
Hobbit's a
was
little
great,
different
but-
though, right? Because it's like The Hobbit's just one book,
right?
And they split that into 3 movies,
right?
That's an issue.
Yeah, but you don't think they would do the same thing with like?
But that's where it's flawed. Where it's like if you make that 1 or 2 at the most.
Well, I guess my point is, you have, let's say, okay, so Lord of the Rings, 3 books. That's training wheels on. Tolkien came out of the grave, took your hand, and said, "Walk with me," and basically you went through the
Treebeard.
The Hobbit was, hey, here's the cliff notes, right? Like here's a small book.
Right.
You got to milk 3 movies out of it, but at least I give you these milestones on where to get to between there. So you have like from point A to point B. Do whatever you want, make it crazy and wild and awesome, and tell a great story. But then you have to get to like Gollum by hour 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think they did a good job with it. So maybe it's too guided.
They need more freedom.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you just completely take the training wheels off.
Probably not.
I just don't trust anybody to do that.
Yeah, me neither. I just, dude. It'd be interesting though. It's an interesting thought experiment.
It's a great land. I just think it's also, if you really boil it down, kind of generic compared to a lot of the fantasy worlds that have been made since then.
No, for sure, because it's pretty dated and like it's very low magic too. Mm-hmm. And I guess like what makes it so great is just, first of all, what makes it great is Tolkien just had such an amazing understanding of his own world. You know what I mean? Like there are just so few people that just know every aspect of the entire world.
Yeah.
Like he knew the innkeeper's name, and you know what I mean.
I mean,
like,
Brandon Sanderson is like the big name now.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's who's like finishing like Wheel of Time and doing all, you know, like so maybe something there.
He would never do it.
Well, no, but I guess my point is I would 1,000% rather see his world come to life than somebody else try to take a, you know, rest in peace dead guy's world and try to milk it for more money.
For sure. No, that's a good point. I mean, because you're not going to do any better.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's fair.
I mean, maybe. Never say never, but it's hard for me to believe.
That'd be tough.
But like a Brandon Sanderson TV show or movie, I mean, even
you got Dune, man. Dune's the next Lord of the Rings.
If you like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings,
Dune was
surprisingly okay.
That was the most Nate
trailer
ever. I heard you like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings,
dude. That was right in
Mass
the trailer.
Effect 2.
Yeah.
I have to watch Dune soon. Doesn't the new one come out in October?
Oh, does it?
Sometime in the fall.
Yeah.
So I have to watch
the
first one before
Chelsea
that.
to watch it too because I want to go see that.
I got to watch it. I don't know if I have to watch it with him or if I can watch it by myself. I don't know what the rules were, but
I
got to watch it. Do you have it?
It's on HBO.
Do you have that?
HBO?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
I mean, get a free trial. Just watch it.
Yeah. Then they're gonna email me. I don't want them to email me.
I mean, they've been emailing me nonstop. I get 50% off.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you do have it?
No, I just that they keep asking me for it.
I got you.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know.
I think the only thing I'm paying for right now is Apple and Netflix.
That's surprising. You do like Apple quite a bit.
I think Apple is pound for pound one of the. Well, we don't have to rehash that, but
you lost that argument. Badly.
I did.
Mike took you to school on that.
Yeah.
I just watched too because I'm not a streaming guy at all. I would have said Crunchyroll, so it's like that's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Apple is very high quality programming.
But they have shitty shows.
What do you mean?
They're just the worst shows ever.
Apple?
Yeah.
What are you talking
the
about?
Worst.
Ted Lasso? Morning show?
Not over.
For All Mankind?
Overrated.
After Party?
I don't even know. The only one I knew was Ted Lasso, which I heard
Severance?
is good. I should probably pick up Ted Lasso again. I only watched the first season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would actually envy you to be able to go from
it was good.
season
I liked
1
it.
through 3.
I liked it.
Some good arcs, man.
I liked it.
For someone who likes to get development.
I'll tell you this.
Some good stuff.
It's a Peaky Blinders, right? My friends are all like, this is the greatest show of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch this. It's a must watch. I watch it. It's good. That's about it.
Ted Lasso is better than Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders was like an 8, maybe. I didn't even finish it, though. I got to finish it. I really should. And I usually finish things, so that's very surprising. But the Russian arc was just not it.
Peaky Blinders, I would give like an 89 to.
Wow.
The whole thing.
That's crazy that you would put it above Cowboy Bebop. That's actually nuts.
Ted Lasso, I would give a 98 to.
98?
Yeah.
That's disgustingly overrated. It's not a 98.
Here's the reason why.
98's like Breaking Bad. Like that's
no Breaking Bad. I would give 100.
Okay, fair.
Like if we're
like
talking
Sopranos, 98's like Sopranos.
Like Breaking Bad,
like
I don't know what you could do. Like it's just perfectly wrapped, well done.
I think
like
so.
it's just like it's.
Someone
awesome.
was telling me it wasn't. Maybe it was Calvin. Someone. Maybe it wasn't Calvin. Someone said Breaking Bad is hard to get into. I don't recall that. Maybe it was you.
Yeah.
I don't recall that at all.
It took a few episodes to.
He kills the guy in the first episode. He locks the guy in his basement, fucking kills him.
I don't think that's the first episode.
It's the first couple.
First couple, yeah. But that's hard to get in. What I'm saying is, like, it's not like. So Game of Thrones, like, end of episode 1, you're immediately hitting play on episode 2.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what are you? And then that goes on. Like, they draw you in, like, with cliffhangers for maybe the first,
that's
like,
Breaking
4 or 5
Bad,
episodes.
too. I just remember the first time I watched it, I was, like, up till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
every night. Because I was like, I got to know what happens.
Breaking Bad's very, very good. I think that it is a fair point that you do have to get a couple episodes in before it clicks with you. At least for me. I don't know.
I don't remember that. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it, but
I just think that no show has made me feel what Ted Lasso has made me feel.
Maybe I'm heartless.
Maybe
I'm
maybe
just
you
don't
just
care.
don't
You
like
know what
family.
actually irks me the most is the sports stuff.
Sure.
I'm just like, this guy would never be a fucking coach. Like,
Yeah.
this is terrible.
Well, if you can't get past that,
That's
then
what I'm saying.
that's
It's
fair.
like, and that's, I know that's not the point of the fucking show.
So
But I'm just like,
but they explore a lot of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad. And it's not impossible.
Yeah.
But it's like, when they lose and he's like, it's okay, guys. I'm like, that is the opposite of every instinct I have when you lose a game. It's just terrible.
And they will.
And the problem is they're professionals. It's like, it does matter if we fucking lose.
Yeah.
I could be fired.
They explore all of that.
Yeah, no,
But again, that's the season 2 and 3, and like, because you always think like, okay, like what can you possibly do, right? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, they do a really good job.
Hey,
I don't know.
I got to keep going with it. I would give it like first season, maybe like an 85.
Sure.
It's like a solid show. I liked it. Thought it was funny. Thought it was heartwarming. Warmed up my little toaster oven for my heart.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't the Grinch after leaving. Like, my heart was still the same size, but like, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's good. But
Would you-
Peaky was overrated. Peaky's overrated. Peaky's over. I mean, like, they're cool. I love the accents. I love the costumes too. Thomas Shelby's like a cool dude, but like, it's kind. I mean, it's like, you kind of see after like 1 or 2 seasons, you kind of see. I got to get to the mob, I guess. Like, I'm not there.
I like
that's
that
after
season.
the Russians,
Yeah,
right?
but I think that's a peak, and then it goes back down, in my opinion.
And then a blinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I did it. Dude, I haven't been watching anything. So I've been just playing video games. We have too many video games to play.
Yeah, I mean, what do you finished Starfield?
I finished Starfield. I started Sea of Stars.
Yeah, is that
Speaking
worth
of getting,
talking about it? Or is it...
so I'm very early in, so this is just very initial impressions. I don't know what it is. And this isn't, I don't think it's like a JRPG, right? But it's like
Yeah, I don't think,
that
I don't think it's
style, I guess,
Japanese.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's Japanese.
It's like
but
RPG Maker style.
Yeah, right. I don't know what it is about these games, but they are always so fucking slow to get into. 100% of the time. And I'm like, dude, I don't like it. Like, the intro is like super slow. The game looks nice. It runs good. And it's kind of like I don't even know what you call it. All the reviews said it's like a 90s RPG style, I guess. If that means anything to you. I guess that would be like...
It's like your Final Fantasy 6s.
Yeah. What was the one though? Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
yeah,
the comparison
yeah.
they were all saying. I feel like they always say that, but like, I don't know.
It's the same character style
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
So like I'm getting through like the intro and the tutorial and stuff, and it was like so slow. Like, you literally start out and you're doing this like test or something because you're like the chosen ones or some shit, and then it goes to a flashback. That's the tutorial, and I have to go through school, and that was like an hour and a half. And I was like, Jesus Christ, they really milk this shit.
Yeah.
And they like teach you all these things, and I'm like,
You're going through.
it was
Let's do school for.
yeah, it
Oh.
was
So you're saying.
and it was pretty on the
Probably.
nose too, because they were like, dude, this is so boring, and I'm like, yeah.
It's the perfect thing of if a game is like, oh, this is so boring, this sucks. If you still make you do it,
exactly.
it's not you're not absolving yourself
Yeah.
about that.
So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. So I'm in the very early stages. I think the combat, and I'm so early, it might open up even more, but I think it's very interesting where it's like, you have your like attacks and spells, and then there's different attack types like slashing damage and blunt damage.
Okay.
And then you can interrupt, like, so an enemy will charge up to do a spell, and they'll have symbols above their head on how to like interrupt them. So it might be like fire damage, slashing, fire in that order, and then you got to do that to like interrupt them and stun them. Also, what I really like about this, so it's turn-based, but it has like an active component to it because you can time. If you press A at the right time, you can do a double attack. And if you press A at the right time, when the enemy's attacking you, you can block and reduce some of the damage. So it keeps you kind of engaged and active, and it's cool because like the enemies will wind up differently, so you kind of learn their style and time it better. So I thought that was pretty neat and interesting, because I'm always thinking about like, how do you evolve the turn-based style? Because it's very dated. It's a great style though, right? Like, and it still works, because you think of something like chess.
Yeah.
Like turn-based is
do you have the opportunity to, like, if you just set your controller down? I assume you play with the controller. Or
I play with controller on this.
Set your controller down. Does it get to a point where you can just like stop? Or like does the battle stop? Or if you just set your controller down, does the enemy just keep pummeling you?
Oh yeah. So the battle stops. Like when it's your turn, it waits for you to go. It's not like a Final Fantasy VII where it's active. I forget what they call that.
Active time battle.
ATB. Yeah. I know it stops.
Okay.
But there is like I said, there's an active component to which I like. So I always like that like innovation of the turn-based style, because I think there's a way you have to modernize it, because I think if you just do classic hit, you know what I mean? It just becomes a numbers game.
Yeah.
And that's not fun, in my opinion. But I think it's interesting so far. It's got great reviews. Like it's and the thing is too, like I talked about this with you many times, because I think it's a very important factor. Like just because something's high on OpenCritic, sometimes it gets skewed because it's very low, like
7 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Liked it,
so it's like, oh yeah, okay, it's just like a niche game. This has like, I'd have to look. I can look real quick, but
was it in the 40s?
It's above 50, I think. And it might be even higher than that. It was a significant number. I don't think it quite reached triple digits. Like if something's triple digits and it's like a 90 plus, it's like, that's good.
You got to try it.
That's really good. But this was like, I'll start taking it quote unquote seriously if it's like over 50.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you can definitely go up or down from there, but I feel like that's a good middle ground. 115.
That's crazy. Yeah.
89.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Good on them, because that's like
crazy.
That's a snowball effect, right? Because this is coming out when Baldur's Gate is out and stuff, and I think that the studio that did that even tweeted and was like, "Oh, this isn't nerve-wracking at all that like one of the greatest RPGs of all time gets released a week before us, or 2 weeks, or whatever it is." Yeah,
you have IGN, PC Gamer, Eurogamer, Game Informer, like all the big dogs.
Not that IGN and I mean they're big. Like so, like
but they sometimes skip
IGN,
on some
exactly.
of these.
If IGN isn't reviewing your game, then like that's already a detriment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 115 puts it in like top 15 of this year of like number.
Yeah.
And then 89 is also top 15 easily. Maybe top 10. Yeah. That's insane. So I'm definitely have to keep with it. Now here's the interesting question. How much of this has to do with Game Pass? So it's on Game Pass. That makes it accessible. So it's like, does that help the snowball effect?
Well, I wonder too is like, I mean, depending on how OpenCritic, because like I know we kicked around the idea of like, can we get into
like what
OpenCritic
qualifications?
Do you have to write like a full piece? Can you just write like a paragraph and have it count as long as you have like a portfolio of like reviews and stuff? So we're gonna look at it, but I wonder. I don't think IGN or anybody does like a, hey, this is on Game Pass, so it's like I don't know how much they weight that like value-wise.
I don't think they do. I think my thing is they might though, because I think it's an important factor. Because think about it, you're paying. I mean, we talked about this with Starfield. Like you're paying $10. That's a huge difference. But my point is, it might have been under the radar, but it starts gaining traction, and then people see, oh, it's on Game Pass anyways. Now I'm going to try it out, and then if it gets popular enough, that's when someone like an IGN looks at it, right? That's like my thought.
Yeah,
but interesting,
and it's a shame too, because that will not be a feather in Microsoft's cap.
No,
like the only feathers they have are these wilted like Redfall and somewhat.
I mean, like why wouldn't you? Isn't that like a place like? It's kind of like a farm system, right? Where it's like, it's a sports reference, where it's like you have these minor league teams coming up, and you're like, oh, this guy's good. Yeah. And then pick them up. Yeah. You pick them up for the studio. Like, you know what I mean? And then you give them a budget.
For all the blunders that they do with like AAA stuff, their indie portfolio or the games that they give, like, I'm putting in quotations, but like give for free type of, hey, like, have Game Pass, and here's like just this plethora of insanely awesome games that anyone, if they could just broaden their horizon past the AAA title or past Call of Duty or whatever,
right,
might like. It's they don't get as much credit for that, and I think that's not fair, but at the same time, I get it.
You're giving them like a platform, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah.
where definitely more eyeballs on the game. But yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna play it this weekend. We also have to play Payday 3, which I'm
that's gonna be this weekend.
Tentatively excited about. I don't know how if you have any
wasn't
thoughts.
a big. Or did you like Payday 2 a whole lot?
I loved Payday.
You loved.
I
Payday.
loved Payday.
Okay, so
and
we'll
it's
have
like,
a good range.
and I don't know. Like I'm very much like Nate, where bank heists and that like straight up my alley. So
that's awesome.
My dream is to have an amazing game that's like a bank heist. And I like the first game was like bleh, like it wasn't great. And the second one was definitely better, but still it's like you have to refine some things. Like there's definitely some aspects of it that I don't like because the stealth's not great, and then you have to like pull your gun out to be able to do any moves or anything, which I hate that. Like I wish you could just be a normal dude and like hack the systems, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And things like that. So it's small things like that where I wish I could just go in, never pull anything out, rob this place blind,
and get out with nothing. Ever triggering anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the dream, dude. Like I don't care about going loud at all. And like some people like that, more power to them. I know in their trailers they showed a bunch of that gameplay off, which kind of worried me because that's not what I want to do. So I'm really hoping that they've considered and made improvements to the stealth mechanics and some of those other aspects. And I was actually thinking, first shower thought in a while, that I'm going to share on the podcast.
First shower?
Shower thought.
Oh, just shower thought.
That
so
I've
you
shared.
showered. You just haven't thought in the shower?
No, first shower thought that I've shared in a while.
I gotcha.
That's what I said.
Okay, I'm with you.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. I do shower. For the right. I'd
yeah,
like
no,
listeners to know.
you smell lovely.
Thank you. Your cat thinks so.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about the Payday 3 or Payday in general. It would be so great. First of all, if there's like a multiplayer where you have like a cops versus bank robbers sort of situation, right?
Like a Rainbow Six.
Like a Rainbow Six-ish. I imagine it as like maybe one or two guys is like a security officer potentially, and then the rest get called in. Or they all get called in because like...
What if there were 3 banks?
Yeah, exactly.
So then if you're doing it right, the cops actually don't really know.
Yeah, exactly. And then, oh my God, it could get into like so many things where you have an ability where you, like an Assassin's Creed where you can plant fake people with like suits that walk into a bank too. And they're like, oh, they're over here. And you just divert them or whatever. Or like just set fire to a third bank.
Just Jason Mamoa, like just burning people down.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
And then like my thought was, how cool would it be? And it's a video game, by the way, but just like a hostage situation where like you're held up, they're outside, and then you have this mechanic of like, okay, the cops lose if any of the hostages die, but the bad guys lose if any of the hostages die. You know what I mean? So it's like this actual standoff. And then there's like some qualifications where you're allowed, like if a police officer steps foot in the building, you are allowed to off like X number of people.
And
then it's like a balancing. And then it's like if the bad guys hurt someone, you're allowed to do X as a cop or whatever. So it's like that would be like a really cool. And it would be like this thing where you have like a live mic and stuff, and you're like talking, you can make a negotiate. It would be so awesome.
Hilarious. If it was so like funny. Real time.
Yeah, exactly. Like it has to be live chat in game. Yeah. And it's like, that would be so funny.
Yeah.
And it'd be like a situation where it's like you start negotiating and like, it would be great. I think it'd be funny, but it'd be tough.
Yeah, it'd be the replay aspect that would be really tough to nail down. And I could understand you get some sort of replay whenever you just don't know who you're getting matched up with.
Yeah.
But then the amount of trolls, the amount of people,
that might be a game though where it's very like Among Us style, where you start getting streamers that have these like lobby, and then people have their private lobbies, and it's not as much maybe an online thing as like your friends kind of thing, like an Among Us, because Among Us online is terrible.
Yeah.
But that, like where you're all kind of honor code and
yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's some sort of like
no cheesing
or something when you're doing it where you're trying to like convince them. Yeah.
And like you were talking about with Among Us, like your friends, so the mind games begin, and like I think That would be really cool. It would
So
be tough
you're
to
saying
pull
we're
off.
probably going to be disappointed with Payday 3.
Absolutely, yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, that's definitely not
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But how sweet would that be?
It'd be cool. Be neat.
Just like the mechanics of that would be so tough to pull off. It's like never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to. It would have to be like an Among Us style game where you're sacrificing like the visuals and everything like that to have this sort of mechanics. You know what I mean?
It's worth exploring. Like that could be a podcast on itself, just an episode where it's like, all right, we're gonna make a better Payday or a better bank heist game.
Dude, that would be just
that'd
like
be fun.
so much fun. And the love the city idea. That's why I was excited to bring it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Again, I do shower, but the
Yeah.
first shower
believe
thought
you. Yeah.
on the podcast in a while. Because then it's like, oh, I think this is cool. And then you always drop something and I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Well, because it can't be like if it's cops and robbers essentially, and it's
know
like
it's
your one
coming.
bank. Yeah, it's like obviously they're gonna
Right.
everyone's gonna be on high alert. But if
Right.
it's like a city and
Yeah.
you're just like, well, there's 3 possible locations. We don't really know which. There's
Yeah.
there's only.
But
so
that's
many
why
resources.
GTA is so fun. Because you get like
Yeah.
game modes like that.
Yeah.
And it is a city. And you are playing cops and robbers. And then after the heist, you get the car chase.
That's fair.
And that might be the most fun part.
Look, man, I wish I could hit you on. And maybe it's just like we play together or something. Like I wish I could love GTA.
Oh my god, you just
Never had a good like we
when
need
it
a
clicks-
full crew type of thing.
when it clicks, it's like I like the single player though. Like I think the single player
It's okay.
is awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fun. Like the story's good and everything, but then just like the mods just do it for me because like I get like the real life car mods, I get the real clothes,
Yeah.
and then I'm just like a baller, dude. I have like all these designer clothes and
just
like
you.
Lamborghinis. Yeah,
The funny
Yeah,
thing
it's
is,
awesome.
I have to have millions upon millions upon millions of dollars sitting in a bank somewhere because I had the game, and then I felt like during a year span, every other week they were putting out some sort of apology because something happened or some exploit happened or something went down or something went. So they were just like,
Giving
we're
money.
so sorry. Here's $1 million. And like, dude, how busted is the economy if you're just handing out $1 million
on
to
the
people?
online mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play a ton of online, but like that's a great streaming game as well where like you get
I mean, they hit something if Red Dead's offline and this
Yeah.
is still going. Like, there's something there, obviously. But
Red Dead's great too though. I mean that's a great game.
I have
It's
it. I just
immersion,
couldn't get
man.
into
I
it,
mean,
yeah.
again, it hits my boxes.
Sure.
I want to just escape life.
Yep.
And you want
I just
good
want to collect.
gameplay.
I just want to collect things.
Well, you want to collect things, but
Yeah.
gameplay is your number one.
yeah.
Gameplay's your number
Speaking of,
Yeah.
I played a whole bunch of random stuff after Starfield.
All right.
Gunbrella.
I saw that on OpenCritic.
It's okay.
I thought it did pretty well.
I think it's probably around an 8 in OpenCritic, right? 79, 80.
I'm looking. What is it about though? If you don't mind,
Yeah, you were picking mushrooms,
as one does.
and your family gets murdered and your house gets burned down.
Okay.
So you pick up an umbrella
79.
that has a shotgun built into it. So think like the Penguin,
Yeah.
and
Literally.
then you're just jumping around shooting things.
Is it a side scroller or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's up your alley.
It is. I just don't think it's. It feels okay, but it's not like super tight controls. And I just don't really care about the characters and different things like that. So I think I played maybe like an hour, 2 hours of it, something like that. It's fine, but it's just like there's so much other stuff out there that is like it's okay.
So you liked the League of Legends game better? Side
Convergence?
scroll? Yeah.
Not even close.
Okay.
Because Convergence, it was like, here's a bunch of different abilities and different things like that. And it was
Yeah.
like near immediate. And this one, it's like, I beat a boss. I talked to some people. But like, it's still just, you can jump. You can like dash with your umbrella. And if you hold it down, your umbrella pops open. You can like float down like the
Yeah.
umbrella does.
Yep.
And you just shoot a infinite shotgun at things. And like, you can get like, you can shoot a grenade out of your shotgun, or you can shoot like a machine gun out of your shotgun. But it's like, no, the shotgun's pretty powerful. Like you just keep using that, and
Yeah.
I worked.
That's like the what's it called? The plasma cutter in Dead Space.
Exactly like that. Where it's like, no, this is good. I don't need anything else. Thanks. And they're like, oh,
I just maxed that shit out.
Yeah,
it was just tapping people.
I will say towards the end, where like there's like the first boss, you beat the boss, and then you go and kind of save the people you were trying to save or whatever, and then some like unforeseen things happen, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that happening. It was like, but I saw it as funny when really the game's like trying to be like super serious about it. And I'm like, it's just like tonally is just like I'm not connecting
detached
with it.
Yeah.
It's really hard, especially in like a side scroller. I mean, it's been done. Like Ori is really good, but it's like it's hard to be like caring about things when it's like this, like I'm calling it 8-bit, like 16-bit, whatever it is, side scroller type thing where you're just this like dude just blasting everyone with a shotgun,
right?
Just giving them all over the place.
Ori's good though.
Ori's next level, but that's a perfect example of the controls are extremely tight and fun just to move in the environment. And I just felt that the jumping and the aiming of the shotgun and everything was just a little too imprecise for me to feel good about it. Like there are plenty of good, like Ori's really good, Dead Cell's really good. Like that's like masterclass, like just feel.
Yeah.
This just didn't hit it for me. One that did hit it for me, Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew is like the full title of it. And that's if you ever played the Shadow Tactics, which is like this, like I think feudal Japan stealth action game, or Desperados 3, which I guess they did other two. I don't know. Where it's all live, but it's like this top down. You control different characters that have different abilities. And you basically, it's all stealth. So like you have like cones of vision and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're creeping around, taking out dudes, doing objectives, and getting out of the map. The other two games were really fun because I played the Shadow Tactics and Desperados. But this game hits different because it's pirates, which I'm an easy mark for.
Yep.
All the characters are extremely like bombastic because you're on this like dead pirate ship. So all of you are like ghosts and dead pirates, basically. So like your main character, which is I think her name's Afia, something.
What was it called again? The game?
Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew.
Gotcha.
I think her name's Afia Matacaro or something. I don't know, but
okay,
well voiced, like really well. Like I was actually
that's the main
shocked
character, right?
That's who you start as. So the nice thing is there's like 8 characters you can play as, and you can pull in like 4 at any given time or 3 at any given time, depending on the map.
Yeah.
But then you have to like pick like, okay, in this map, there's a lot of like elevation, so I'm going to bring my sniper here, and then I'm going to bring the sniper, I'm going to bring this other guy, I'm going to, like whatever, because they're all specialized.
Right.
So like she can zip around and like freeze time almost and like kill somebody, but she's a little bit weak and can't like throw a dude over the shoulder and hide him in a grass as fast as like this skeleton guy that can like kill somebody. He's a little bit louder. He can't crouch and carry bodies, but he can murder somebody and get him out of there faster than her. So like you have to like pick and choose depending on like the routes of the enemies and how fast they're going and stuff.
Right.
And the cool thing is you can hit shift, pause time, and then be like, okay, you're going to go do this thing, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this and this and this, and then like you plan it all out.
Like an XCOM?
And then you hit play.
Does XCOM do that?
Not really, but
something does that.
Yeah, it's
that's super cool. I love it.
But it's super neat.
Yeah.
And then you hit play, and you just watch it all go down.
Yeah.
And then you can hit pause again, and then you like, okay, now you pick up the body, you pick up the body, you pick up the...
That's how I
kind of like hide and stuff.
Yeah. That's how I dream like D&D is.
Yeah.
Where you talk about a whole turn, and then you could hit play and just
it's
happens.
super. They do it so well.
That's
and
awesome.
the coolest thing is at the end of the board, and like these things take like, I mean, granted, it's me. I'm like going around making sure I collect everything and do it like.
So it's like a strategy.
It's definitely
game.
a strategy
game.
It's like there's a bunch of different solutions to the puzzles, but it's like depending who you have on the map. And early on, your options are very limited.
Right,
but
right.
you can go back to these maps and have different objectives, and there's different enemies and different things. And like certain enemies are like, okay, well, if you whistle, the lower level enemies will come to you, but the higher enemies are like, I'm not going to bother with that. And then you have to start thinking like, okay, if low level guy is talking to a high level guy, then he's not going to come either. Or if you have these two psychic guys that are like mentally linked, it'll show you on the map like, okay, like these two are linked. You have to take them out together, because if you don't, then the other one just resurrects for some reason. So it's like a lot of cool little puzzles, but all the characters are so unique, where like Afia, who's like the main character, she just has a sword in her chest. Like that's her sheath, right? So like if she's attacking somebody, she like rips it out of her chest, kills a guy, and then like shoves it back inside her chest.
That's pretty
the
metal.
Skeleton guy is just like a chef, like he's a sushi chef, but he really, really cool. And you know how I like sushi and Dave the Diver.
Is it Dave?
It's not Dave. It's not Dave. No, because this guy's he's Japanese. So
Dave's not.
Dave's not. No, but
Dave's.
But he does
friend?
like these cool like yeah, it's probably Dave's friend competition.
Oh, no. Dave killed him.
But and there's like this zombie lady, like think like big buff. Honestly, think Zarya or whatever from Overwatch.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
basically her, but
right
like
there
zombie form.
Yep.
She has a big cannon. She's the cannoneer,
exactly like
right?
her. Yeah.
But her whole thing, her whole shtick is super slow, big, whatever. She can still like crouch, but whatever. Whenever you kill somebody, you can take corpses and shove them in her cannon. So she doesn't shoot cannonballs out of her cannon. She just shoots corpses. So like if you want to hide a corpse, Funk goes in your cannon, shoots it out either into the water or into a bush or whatever.
That's funny.
Or if you want to take one of your people, so like for instance, I have a sniper, right? This old lady that's like just really crack shot sniper.
Yeah.
She can't climb vines. So like in different areas, it's like she can climb ladders, but she can't climb vines, or she can't swim. And everyone has all these little attributes,
a weakness,
right?
Yeah.
So normally she can't climb vines, but there's like, if I could just get her on top of this church. Sure enough, cannoneer comes, thunk, shoots the sniper up on this thing that normally you couldn't get to. So like that's how you kind of create your teams given the different areas you go to. Super, super cool.
Yeah.
But at the end and each of these missions take between like 30 to 40 minutes typically, if you're doing like pretty
completion
hardcore. Yeah. But at the very end, it does this super top high level, think like a football play. Yeah. And it literally shows you exactly what you did in fast time.
Wow.
So it's like, here's where you started, and it'll show you every attack you did on everyone. So it's like this entire map full of like tiny little dots. Like, let's say like 50 dudes.
Yeah.
You just watch your crew just decimate like the entire island and stuff.
That's awesome.
When all that's done, you go back to your ship, the Red Marley, and who's like a spirit ship or whatever.
Yeah.
But then every character has their own story arc, and in between every mission, you can pick one character to advance their arc. So I picked the sushi guy, and
of course.
he's literally training. He was like, I need to make. I'm not gonna do the accent, but he's like, I need to make like food for the crew. He's like, I'm gonna get some fresh fish that we had strung up. But then you're like, okay, you're just gonna make sushi. But then you go to talk to the fish, and the fish talks back to you, and is just like, oh, sensei, like, teach me to be a ninja just like you. And then you end up just training this fish to be your like.
What?
It's insane, dude.
That's not what I was expecting.
It's so goofy and stupid and hilarious. And
then the fish is in your party?
He's not in your party. It's just part of the dude's storyline.
Okay.
And this is like,
how sweet would that have been?
5-6 chapters of it, right?
The fish.
Yeah, right. Well, he was like, you have to get me this plant of blah, 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 blah. And then that was it. And like, that's the thing. But then the next time you talk to it, he's like, here's the plant master or whatever, or sensei. And it's just like, what? He's like, it's funny. It's dumb. But every place you go to, you get a pearl or you get a spirit, and you need one pearl and one spirit, and you basically combine them, and that's how you revive your different crewmates. So the cool thing is you can literally pick how you unlock your crew.
Right.
But anyway, all that stuff, really, really good. I'm loving that game. Like it's like the other games were good, but it's like the subject matter and it's just the refinement of it. Awesome.
No, I think it's right up your alley.
I love it.
Gameplay and That's interesting. I really love that concept of
the demo's out, so it's like you can play. I think the first 3 maps for free or something like that. Like essentially like the whole tutorial. It's really, really good. Yeah.
I don't know if I can get to this.
No. That's completely fair. And then, sorry, real quick, the last one was I did start playing Lies of P, which is the Souls-like Pinocchio game.
Yep.
On Game Pass. Holy cow! It looks better than Elden Ring. And I don't know if
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
It certainly performs better than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Okay, get out of here, Superman. Sorry, my cat is
soups.
Come on. It's fun.
Elden Ring didn't
neat.
perform well in terms of on PC?
No, I mean, to be fair, I haven't played it recently, but was it a stuttering
You didn't
mess.
have your new computer though when you did that.
I did. I played it since I had my new computer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is like butter. This is 120 frames, easy, completely maxed out. Like
it looked great on like the trailers and stuff. So I was curious.
It's a cool concept. So it's like you're Pinocchio, you're a human boy, but you have like a mechanical arm, and it's just like puppets everywhere.
Edgelord, I mean,
yeah. Well, so the cool thing is your sword. So you pick like you want like your balance class, your super fast class, or your heavy class just to start, and you have this sword, and you're like running around and killing puppets and whatever, which are essentially just robots. It's it feels very iRobot, honestly, like just going through it.
Yeah.
And you're killing things, and your sword durability goes down. But the funny thing is, your arm is essentially like the whetstone for it. So like to get your instead of like reloading almost like to get your durability back up, you take your sword and you just hold it next to your like mechanical arm and does this cool like animation, just like you see the durability shoot back up, and I'm like, man, it's kind of cool. It has some style.
Yeah.
So I got through that. I went to the first boss that beat me 10 ways to Sunday or whatever.
Yep.
Beat him. And that's, I got to I'm going to find Geppetto now. Like that's my.
So you're enjoying it?
Yeah, we'll see. Is it? I'm sure that the next boss is going to be that much hard. Like I'm sure that.
If you had a problem with the first one,
like,
it's not looking good for you.
It's hard for me to believe that anyone that played Elden Ring or likes Souls-likes spent more than like 10 minutes on the first. Not even. They probably knocked it out. Like if they didn't beat it on the first go around, they probably beat it on the second. But it
the
took
reviews
me like
for Lies of P
7 or 8 tries.
Weren't great. Like low 80s.
Yeah, I mean that's good.
It's good.
Decent.
It's not great. Though.
It's not Elden Ring.
But yeah.
So that it is very much more on rails, which is maybe why it performed a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I was. And you know how I am, but it's like he's wearing like this white blousey shirt, right?
Yep.
Going around doing his thing, and you go outside and it's starting to rain, and then you just start seeing like it's not just like they didn't put just a sheen of gloss on it. It was his white shirt is now starting to be slightly tan, and you could start seeing his skin through the sheer fabric and stuff. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like it's a good.
Rain effects, water effects, quickest way to Tyler's heart.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it looks sick. I mean,
yeah.
I will say Shadow Gambit though, just to jump back really quick, pretty decent reviews. 85.
What's 85?
Yeah, with 51 critics.
Okay, all right.
That's solid. I mean, that's pretty decent. 85 is a mighty.
I think I have it at 87 right now.
Okay,
because I'm about 5 hours in.
So your scores are fluid. So you score them as you go.
Yes.
And then I wait till the end.
I like to have a judgment. It's kind of like almost like a like you can kind of see where like this started out really strong, right? So if I'm playing a game and it's like, holy cow, this was amazing, right? Like a great start. And then it starts kind of like going down or up or down. Like, like you can kind of start seeing it. And I think Dave the Diver was a perfect example of that, where like I started and it was like maybe 82 or whatever, and then you just see it like just skyrocket as more and more and more goes through. Same with like Neon White. Like so, we just to kind of loop that back in, we went through all games that we've played for the past 2 years are on there now, scored, ready to go.
Couchcompany.games.
Couchcompany.games with stipulations on like if just one of us played it, our name is going to be on there. So right now, I feel like it's weighted way more in my favor because I'm doing
play a million indie games.
I
can't keep up. I can't keep up. And the problem is you don't finish them.
I finished a lot of last year, so like that is one of the stipulations, right? So and I don't know if you've noticed, like on some of the lists that we've done for this year, even I've just deleted. It's where I'm like, okay, I'm putting this on here because I want to play this game, and then it's like either it didn't hit for me and I just really didn't like it, or I didn't want to play enough of it to give it like a true score. Because if it doesn't grab me in the beginning, I mean, we don't get paid for this, so it's like I'm not going to keep going, right?
Yep.
But I'm also not going to say, oh, this was a 40 game and that was it. With the exception of like maybe you could make that argument with Redfall, but I think we played enough of Redfall to understand what
we did not
is.
play enough of blanking on the
Remnant?
name. No, the BioShock Russian game.
Oh, Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart. We did not play enough of that.
No.
I couldn't get into it. It was so boring.
I think so. Like Street Fighter 6, I think we'll probably end up getting off the list because I don't care about that game at all, and I respect it.
Dude, I have to play it.
You're better off playing Mortal Kombat, I think.
I have to play it. I said I was going to play it, and I have to play it.
And that's fine. But if you want something that will actually be like story wise or actually make you care about it, like Mortal Kombat just it's not even close. So,
but I kind of want to play it. I don't know why.
Dude, do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm just
cool. It looks cool.
But that's how everything's scored. So everything's scored there. And then I think the two that Jeff, so what killed Jeff, that I gave him was Elden Ring and Sifu. Were those two. So like Elden Ring specifically, because if it was up to me, Elden Ring would have like a 67.
Yeah, I mean I mean. Yeah. Nobody would listen to us anymore. He had to come in.
But that's fair, right? Like, and I think Liza P is going to be a similar thing where
I don't know how he feels about it. Actually,
he said it was good.
He said it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It's not Elden Ring, but it's one of those like
Elden Ring is like one of the best ever.
If he scores it and it's just like, all right, cool, we trust you. Here, and you just put it up, and it's what it is. Like,
I won't be.
If he's comfortable with it, we'll do it that way. But
I won't be playing Liza P, so I have to trust someone else.
Yeah,
I just like those just are not my games, dude.
I'm just shocked at how well it's running. I think that's a big. It's a big deal.
You're a performance gameplay guy,
but for a game that is so dependent on like perfect timing and getting like being able to like flip the camera and see what's coming and like it should feel. I shouldn't be fighting the performance of a game and being all stuttery and bogged down because it just feels wrong.
But then you shit on the visuals too, so it's like a catch-22, right?
Yeah, well, but Liza P is a perfect example of you can have decent looking visuals because I think it uses Unreal Engine. But then you
sacrifice open world.
Maybe.
100%, 100%.
We'll see how it opens up. I don't know.
I mean, you're in a city, right? And it's not gonna.
For right now, yeah. I don't know.
I imagine it's gonna be on the rails for the entire game. It's my
probably.
Guess.
People are putting it to like Bloodborne or whatever.
Bloodborne is like loved though, so I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Bloodborne runs like crap. Like
I didn't
enjoy your cinematic 30 frames a second.
I didn't say it. Wasn't me.
I don't know. But yeah, so Payday's coming.
I have some bad news for us, by the way. Just while I'm on OpenCritic, I was like scrolling through.
Yeah.
Any guess for what Payday 3 is sitting at right now? Or should I not tell you? Maybe this will influence your thoughts on it.
60.
Higher.
65.
67.
Yeah.
It's a blue. It's not a sick guy, but it's a sad guy.
But that's within our.
That's sure bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. Although I think there's only like a couple reviews. So. Cyberpunk though, which I'm really excited for.
That's another one.
89.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big.
I think GameSpot gave it a 10.
Yep.
Which is unheard of for a expansion pack to be like, oh, it's 10 out of 10.
Is it just me, or is like the expansions in recent years have just been like some of the highest rated things I've seen? Like Final Fantasy 14 expansions, Forza expansions are randomly amazing.
Oh, weird if you craft a well-paced, tight, feature-rich thing, it reviews well versus your bloated, open-world, repetitive game.
Yeah.
Like, a shocker.
I will say, opposite effect on Horizon. Horizon Forbidden West scored really well.
Yeah.
DLC, meh.
Little meh. Yeah.
Not meh, but like okay. Like in like low 80s.
Yeah.
Or mid 80s or something. No, low 80s. It had to be low. It was purple. I haven't played it either. So it's like, But if that was like in the 90s, like the game was, or like
it wasn't.
high 80s.
I don't even think it was high 80s.
Horizon?
I think Horizon Forbidden West was.
It was like 89.
I think it was mid. I don't think it was 89.
Mid?
Yeah,
No
I think it was purple.
What?
I think so.
The game?
I think so.
The regular game?
I think so.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger me?
Yeah.
All right.
It was not purple.
I'll cheeseburger you.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it.
We actually have to shake. That's fine.
We have to.
I owe you dinner tonight.
Oh, are you gonna?
Yeah, are you
do
good
it
with
tonight?
that?
Is that why we're doing it tonight?
Yeah. Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Searching it right now, just getting a quick cheeseburger.
I might be
88.
Yeah, 88. Okay.
I mean, that was
that's fair.
easy.
What's purple? What's the drop? Is it 86?
84, I think.
84. Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, let me just look at the Burning Shores real quick. 81 on Burning Shores. So it's
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
I digress. Yeah, I'm excited for Cyberpunk because it's in like a really good. I think after the 2.0 update and the DLC, I think it's in a really good spot now.
I'm going. I'll go blades. So I'm going marksman rifles, blades.
They like totally revamped the skill. So you've seen this stuff, and
which almost made me want to start a new character.
Yeah.
Because I just started a new character because I was using it for reference for Starfield, and then I was like, I kind of want to like start again. But there's only so many times you pick this chick up from the bathtub, right? Like it's just like if I start over again, I'm never gonna get to where I need to be.
Yeah. You run into Fort Joy.
I just forget. Well, I just forget how you could. I don't think my early decisions are gonna mess me up. I guess.
No.
Like I put a lot into body where I'm like, I probably don't need that much, but
you can respec once for free. I think.
Can you?
I think so. That's what they said.
Come on, cat.
Cat, man.
Or you just push him off.
I don't want to.
You can push him off.
Goodbye. Right. There's a cat like 2 inches in front of my face.
Right. That's what I mean. You're allergic.
I'm doing okay actually today. Your cats are going crazy.
Yeah,
they're just fucking fighting each other.
It's
dinner time.
It's close to dinner time.
But yeah, anyways, really excited for Cyberpunk, and there's just so many fucking fighting games I have to play. Like I want to play Mortal Kombat. It looks amazing. Like the game looks really nice.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that we're seeing it on a crunch down phone.
It looks so good on my phone.
No, but that's exactly it. Where like
same with Street Fighter.
Street Fighter does not. So Street Fighter has whenever you're picking your character and you select it, and it does this like almost like ray traced close up. You could see all the pores. It's like really good quality, and then it flashes to like not as good quality, and then you get into the gameplay. And Mortal Kombat is like the actual gameplay, super smooth, really good, but it's capped at 60. It doesn't go above that. Street Fighter does go to 120, but like the movies are 30. The game board, so they got rid of the crypt, and now you're like running around on a game board to do stuff.
Yeah,
it's an okay concept, but like that's 30. It seems like, and it's just feels not great. So you
beat the story, right?
Yeah, story you beat in maybe like I would 7-ish hour, maybe five between 5 and 7 hours. Like it's pretty short.
Okay. Street Fighter doesn't really have a story. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like the world tour mode or whatever. Which I
don't care.
I would be playing it for the fights, which is like totally the opposite of what I should ever do.
So this is, I don't even know if I should say this on air, but this is really dumb. So I made this like little old lady. That's my fighter. Just like tiny old lady. Because like in my mind, I was like, I'm going to make her, and then eventually you and I will fight, and I'm going to bring out my character. You're going to bring out your character, and I'm just going to whoop your butt with this like old lady. She has like this gray hair, like bangs, so you can't actually see her eyes and stuff. Hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm this old lady, all right? So picture that.
Yep.
And I talk, like, you go through, like, the intro story or like, intro cinematic, and you have to talk to this chick, and she's like, oh, you can fight anyone in the world, and blah, 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 and, like, go up and start challenging people. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know if it's randomly generated or what. I could only fight black people.
No.
So I'm looking around, And I'm like, this seems like it was odd. And maybe just because like my line of work and stuff, I'm always looking at like diversity and stuff, and I was always trying to be like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking around and I'm like, because you could tell because the people have their levels above their head or whatever.
Yeah.
People are walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
they're all NPCs, right?
all NPCs.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find in my immediate vicinity. Like eventually I just ran out of like the group that you're supposed to fight.
I mean, you can go to like Japan and stuff, right? So
yeah, because you got to go and like meet all the
it's
Street
around
Fighter
the world.
people and stuff.
Yeah.
But just in that little area, because you have to like go fight somebody, then run back to her and say, "Hey, I fought somebody," and she's like, "Great, now go eat some pizza." It's not compelling, right?
No,
like, at all.
No. I wish they did like in Street Fighter V. I'm pretty sure they did like a story mode.
I bounced off of 5 pretty quick,
like
but you closer to it,
Mortal Kombat-esque.
Ish, yeah.
Like there's a story.
No one does Mortal Kombat like that, but yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. I mean, like, I'd prefer that. I mean, they were trying something new, and like,
yeah,
I think that created characters hilarious. Like, there's some funny things. There's also some really impressive things. Like, I watched some of the like online battles or whatever, because there's like a you can do your avatar or whatever online, and like there's some cool.
Yeah,
people make some really cool stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I want to try it. I just think like I kind of like the character design in Street Fighter more than Mortal Kombat. Like, is that crazy? And I've never been super into either. Like, I can even tell you the last time I played. I've never played Street Fighter, and I can't tell you the last time I played Mortal Kombat. Like,
it just depends if you want an exaggerated style. Like, you want something a little bit more stylistic.
Like so you're saying like Street Fighter is like exaggerated.
Oh yeah, well everyone's super glossy and super like
it's
like,
anime as fuck.
Yeah. I can see that.
Their biceps are the size of my body.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
It seems almost like Mortal Kombat has like even dialed it back a little bit, where it's like they're very realistic. They're very I mean within the realm of
but like
Kombat thing, but
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like even like nobody's like super over built or anything. It's just like a dude that's like, yeah, you could be an actor, whatever. Sure. Good job, Johnny Cage. Which Johnny Cage, he's annoying. And I understand Johnny Cage is supposed to be annoying, but I really want to go back to 11 and see if it's the same voice actor or what. But like, he's two people. I don't really like his delivery.
Okay.
Like the character or whatever, but don't love his delivery. Because this is all resetting the Mortal Kombat universe. Megan Fox is worse than Ronda Rousey was in 11. So they brought in Ronda Rousey to be like Sonya Blade, right? Yep. Like that was the voice actor, was a whole big thing, and it was like, why'd you pick her? Whatever. Megan Fox is terrible.
Oh,
like I
hate to see it.
And I loved her in New Girl.
You did?
But my goodness, is she
voice acting's hard?
Terrible voice actress.
Have you ever seen did I ever show you the NBA game?
That's literally
the worst.
Yep.
Equivalent? No,
NBA is worse.
Okay.
But you know how it was just like you're literally just reading. Like you're not, there's no inflection, there's no nothing. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Like
the problem with the NBA
she's like a vampire. We don't choose to be vampires and monsters. And then they like fight. It's like, okay.
That's funny.
The NBA one's bad. Yeah.
Oh,
who was
whenever
that?
I need a funny laugh.
That wasn't Shaq. Who was?
Oh, it was like they got all the players.
Oh, it was just
to voice themselves.
Oh, that's really, there was one really egregious one, or one that always makes the round on like TikTok and stuff.
Bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. Whenever I need a chuckle, that's one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
I just think, wow, fighting games are just in such a good spot right now.
Yeah, I guess Mortal Kombat was another game I played that we didn't talk about. But I played Mortal Kombat.
Wow, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and you have Tekken coming out.
Tekken's January.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Tekken doesn't do the story nearly as good as Mortal Kombat. Like
maybe they do.
Maybe
they'll surprise us. I'm so bummed that Street Fighter, because like I think fighting games have like some of the coolest, because in a fighting game it's an imperative to have amazing characters.
Yeah,
because you need a good roster and you need like unique and interesting characters. That's like the life and blood of a good fighting game, right? So it's like I'm a character guy, right? Like obviously. And that leads to like, man, I want to get into the lore of this because the characters so like when you talk about Tekken and like pandas and has a crush on a bear or something, I'm just like, that sounds fucking hilarious. That's awesome. And like this guy died 5 times. He's back. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. There's a fucking guy with a panther mask on,
but
jaguar.
Even that pales in comparison. Where like I don't know anything about Street Fighter. If you know the Street Fighter lore, then maybe this would be something for you.
I got a little into it, but like the bare bones.
But like it doesn't do anything in the game. Like I was like, okay, hey, I want to do the arcade, and it was like I picked Blanca.
I was kind of bummed because I was like, I don't even know what I was expecting because they were like upfront about it. They were like, oh, it's just gonna be World Tour mode, and I'm like, I still thought there was gonna be like an arcade mode with like maybe it'll be DLC or something. I don't know. But I like kind of like got a little bit of the backstory, and I wanted to do the same thing. Well, for Mortal Kombat, it's actually perfect because they're like resetting everything, so I can just jump in and just like, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but who cares?
Yeah.
So like I'm set for that, but I was like kind of bummed because I was like, oh man, like I just think the Street Fighter character is so cool. Like you have Ryu, right?
Yep.
And he's like this old gruff dude now. I'm like, his character design's great. Like they're all like aged up. I love when properties do that. They age up their characters.
Yeah.
Time's passed. Things have happened. Things are canon. Like that's super cool to me.
And that was Tekken 3. And it was like they just stopped. Like they just froze in that time.
Yeah.
They aged everyone up and it was like sick. And then that was it.
And it's like you have to have a balance because it's like, okay, well, if you're on Tekken 8, they might all be too old, and then we lose all our icon. Because like I remember you said they did that with like 2, where was it 2 where they killed everyone, and then it's like
it was 3. So 3 they killed essentially most of the roster of 2 and all their like kids and stuff and everything in there. But then like turns out everyone that died basically didn't die. But I will say with Mortal Kombat, like the difference was in Street Fighter, it's like, hey, very anime, like be the best, help out each other, love your neighbor, go kick all these black people's asses. You know, like that's basically what it's like. I'm just telling you what it's
Capcom would come out and say, I don't know.
But it was just dumb when I'm this little old racist white lady running around just knocking dudes that would like just one hit. Anyway, it's so dumb. Anyway, but all of that, and then you look at like Mortal Kombat, where it's literally like a really good cinematic, like good looking cinematic. Yeah. The transitions, the worst transition part is just the fact that it goes from like 30 to 60. If it was just all 60, it would be
butter.
Yeah, it'd be really, really nice. Yeah. And the resolution's a little, I think it's like rendered at like 1080p instead of 4K. Is like little weird stuff there. But like it starts out and it's like you have Raiden, who isn't the god of thunder anymore, with Liu Kang, and they're just farming. And that was it. And then they go for a drink, and then the whole thing just goes. And it's just like you learn to love the characters and love their backstories and stuff. And it's very similar to Arcane, where if you know anything about the characters, when you see them in one, like Mortal Kombat 1, like this newest one, which I know is a little confusing, they look slightly different. But by the end of the game, they get to mostly where they were, like their classic looks, right? So it's like, I'm making this up, but like, that's weird. How do you have 2 legs right now? And then like by the end, like, oh, you're going to have 1 leg. You know, that's not a thing.
One leg stand, dude.
Yeah, one leg stand is just going to, you know. But like what was it? Who was the green? It's not. You have Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and then
I don't know,
lizard guy or whatever. Which my argument was, you make him care about it, but I can't remember his name. But like you actually care and stuff. So anyway,
no, that's cool. I like that too. Like making it work, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, top 5.
Yeah, I know we ran long. We have time for a top 5. We blowing through.
We could blow through it, or we could save it. It's up to you.
I mean, we saved it from last week. May as well knock it out if we feel like we can
knock it out of the park.
Right,
So this week we were talking. I think this is Chelsea's suggestion, Tyler's wife. Top 5 wizards.
Yeah.
Top 5 wizards. Don't have a good segue. I guess there's some wizards in Mortal Kombat.
Sorcerers. Otherwise, they would be on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Okay, so we got to talk rules.
Yeah, we got
rules here. So what are the rules? What makes a wizard a wizard? And we're including witches as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tyler. Give us what is a wizard?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
My hard and fast rule was if they were ever referred to as a wizard, it counts.
Yikes. Okay, I have some wizards on here then.
For instance.
Yep. To me, wizard, like the D&D definition is like learned magic.
Yeah.
As opposed to natural magic.
Sure.
As opposed to heavenly magic.
But then, so the only, and we talked about this briefly while we were both drunk at a casino, but it was the idea is if you go with that logic, then like Doctor Strange is a wizard.
I have him, yeah.
But he's the sorcerer supreme.
He's a wizard.
Right. But, then you also argue that like Gandalf isn't a wizard.
Gandalf's not a wizard. Correct.
But he literally
doesn't matter.
Is a wizard.
He's not.
But he's a wizard.
He's a divine being.
He's
calls
not a wizard. Himself a wizard.
It doesn't matter. I can call myself a champion. I'm not.
It's okay. The divine beings are wizards, though. That's the whole thing.
They're not. He's more of a cleric, if anything.
Look, if you're going by D&D rules, sure. But what
I just
I'm
think
saying
that
is if they're called a wizard,
how else do you make sense of it?
Jedi are wizards.
Yes.
Because the creator of Jedi call them space wizards.
They also have to hone their craft in the Force.
Laser swords.
They learn
the
Force.
Sure.
They study it. Wizard. Studying.
Yeah.
School. Harry Potter's a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry.
Yeah.
He said it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
mean, we can count Gandalf because like he's on every wizard list ever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he shouldn't count. He's a god. He's like divine.
It's just that universe. That's what I mean is when you start going with different universes, it's not super great.
All right, we'll try to
because like in the Mistborn things, they're Allomancers. Right. So like,
got any of those in there?
Yeah. That's why I pointed over there. That's the biggest one.
No, I mean they're in your. I guess I'll learn.
No, I don't. I took them out because I remember you saying like it's a learned thing.
Well, you're saying it's not.
Well, I'm saying that if he calls himself a wizard, and technically Gandalf goes and studies, so like
all right. Does he?
Yeah, he runs around, looks for history.
Oh yeah, I
Dude, it's
remember that part.
Loosey-goosey. We should have just done like, hey, top 5 magical beings, but then how do you even quantify that?
I don't fucking know. This is going to be a disaster list, which is fitting because
wizards
why
will be done in 15 minutes. Let's go.
Wizards are bullshit magic-y too, so our list is going to be bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, really? That's the first time that's happened.
Magic. All right. I'll start. I'll kick it off. Speaking of D&D, I have Karsus from D&D. You should probably, maybe you're familiar with him. Gale talks about him in Baldur's Gate a little bit. Are you that far yet?
No. I know who you're talking about.
You know who you're talking about, which is, that bodes well for me.
Sure.
Okay, so Karsus is the only human in history to cast a 12th level spell. Now in D&D, at least 5th edition, you're probably familiar, it only goes up to 9 levels. So that should indicate to you how fucking OP this guy was, that he gets all the way up to a 12th level spell. Now you might ask, what does a 12th level spell do? Well, it kills the goddess of magic, of course. Like, so he pretty much turns into a god.
Spoilers.
This happened years ago, thousands of years ago. You don't know by now. He essentially turns into a god, and then Mistra, who's the goddess of magic, I think sacrifices herself to stop him. And essentially it destroys the weave or something, like damages it.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Karsus' folly,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's insane that he was able to get that strong. Also, the kind of empire they had or whatever is just like these insanely strong wizards to the point where their cities were like in the sky, just floating around. Because why not?
Sure.
And he was like the leader of them, so he was the strongest. So he's probably top 5. That seems pretty broken.
It's an argument. Yeah.
Dude, who else has turned into a god and then it blew up?
Well, yeah, we can get there. Okay. Yeah.
I can't say any more. I mean, there's actually, they go into it in Baldur's Gate, but I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me because that's a slow burn that That's
a great game.
Yeah.
It's a great
All
game.
Right. All right. So how do you spell that?
Karsus. Maybe.
Karsus.
Karsus.
Sure. All right. What about Merlin?
Yeah. I don't know what he does, but I just respect him.
I mean, there's a ton of
I don't know any of it.
of him, but I mean, the fact that it's just like, I mean, obviously advised King Arthur, if you want to go that route of just like, okay, like helped the realm, did all this stuff. If you're looking at the cartoon, you can change into different animals and stuff, which is pretty cool.
He brings out the
I'm just saying, it goes like all over. You have the live action like TV show where you get to like watch him kind of like grow up and talk to dragons and do all kinds of stuff and whatnot. You have Harry Potter, where he's just like the OG best wizard
Slytherin,
ever.
by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Slytherin.
Sure.
He's in Slytherin house.
Yeah, okay.
Best house.
It's up there. It's in the top 5.
He's in the top 5, so it's going to be in the top 5. It isn't top 4. Top 4.
But yeah. So I mean, like Merlin is just
he's good.
When you like, hey, name a wizard. Well,
he's top 3
at this point. Harry Potter's probably on. The first
but
thing,
like he's up. He's
before Harry Potter. Merlin would have been it.
Gandalf,
maybe.
Speaking of
Gandalf's great.
He's not.
He's great.
He's not. Like, I will concede this to you because I have to, just out of principle.
I'm not saying he has to be on the list.
He doesn't cast any fucking spells.
He doesn't need to. That's how good he is.
Yeah. Yep.
He casts plenty of spells. You just don't know that he's doing
bangs his staff on the ground against the Balrog.
Yep. He's a fire wizard.
He throws some sparklers when he's in the Hobbit
fireworks.
Village.
Likes fire.
What else did he cast? He blinded something over the ridge.
He talks to a butterfly.
Although I think that was the
butterfly.
He talks to a butterfly. He blinded the people. Although I think that was the sun.
You can't prove it.
There was an assist on the sun there.
You were
I think
blind.
he might have just timed the sun going over the
Imagine if he could make the sun, like that was a spell, as he made the sun crest
rise a little faster.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But he's like in all these big battles, he's fighting with a fucking sword.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very wizardly of me. Of him.
He knows how powerful he is, and he has to hold back a little bit. That's all.
You're never allowed to say anything about Superman again.
That's fine.
Okay, because that's why Superman's the best. That's exactly why Superman's the best, by the way.
Superman's most powerful. Anyway.
No, he's the best. He's awesome.
I'm not saying Merlin or Gandalf has to be on the list. It's just like
he's a good contender.
Yeah.
Gandalf the white or gray, or does it not matter?
So that gets a little interesting where it's like, for me, I would do gray because that is the more. I understand he's God and everything, but like
I agree.
The white, then it's like, hey, you're resurrected.
Yeah.
Oh, like you just you plot armor, you're not dying, type of thing.
Which is kind of wizard like.
Yeah. I mean, but I would do just Gandalf the Grey like that. I when I think of Gandalf, he's in his gray cloak. Very rarely do I think about
with his hat.
him.
Yeah, 100%.
As much as 3
with
was
his pipe.
awesome. Yeah.
Wow, 3 is the best.
Well, yeah, I mean that's magic. He's making ships go through circles and stuff with smoke.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What level spell you think that is? Cantrip, maybe?
Yeah. But whatever.
Sure.
It takes skill. Okay. Anyway.
My guy fucking turned into a god.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah. Darth Sidious, though.
So here's the thing.
All right.
We're talking
because I'm assuming there's going to be one from Star Wars.
Yeah, probably.
We're not going to have multiple from Star Wars.
Probably.
So Qui-Gon's good.
So
Darth Sidious OP.
Darth Sidious is OP.
Yeah.
And it depends on what properties you're talking about. Because if you go into the books, it
gets worse.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
He is just infinite clones and can just spirit hop and do different things.
That sounds disgusting.
But Qui-Gon was the first.
That doesn't matter.
To be like, hey, you know all those Force ghosts? You know Obi-Wan? You know Anakin? You know Yoda? All that stuff? Qui-Gon was the one that was like, oh, I figured it out.
That's good.
It's real good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Not as good as infinite clones and never dying.
If you're talking pure power, then
but
it's hard not to give it to
power.
Sidious.
He has the pure power.
Yeah.
But he outplays everyone with politics.
Yeah. That's fair.
He isn't bad with a blade either. Goes toe to toe with Yoda.
Yeah.
Windu.
Yeah.
I mean, Although Windu should have won.
He did win.
He did win. I'm still sad about. I'm still a little sad about that. But I think Darth Sidious is pretty nutty.
Yeah,
like you talk best wizard. Qui-Gon had great force ability, but like Darth Sidious just takes it to an entirely different level, in my opinion.
From pure power and cunning and everything else, absolutely, sure. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Well, what else are we measuring?
Well, I don't know. Like it's one of those like Qui-Gon did all that before Sidious, right? So it's like
sure.
it was just one of those like this was
standing on the shoulder of giants, I guess. Sort of deal.
And
but
it's just like
in the histories of Star Wars, they will talk about Sidious more than they will talk about Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
Sidious just he like took everything. Like he's
created
just,
an empire. Yeah, like sure. I can't argue that. I'm just talking like if you're talking just pure wizardry.
But I think he has the wizardry. Like
he does.
Has the lightning. He has the. You know better than me. He's got
he's
a million powers.
Sure. Yeah.
He's good.
I hate him, but
I do too. He's gross. His skin's clammy, but he's good.
He's very good. Yeah.
You think with all that power, he can make himself look a little better?
You would think.
Maybe he doesn't want to.
Yeah. I mean, by that, technically, Dooku's pretty cool too. But
I love Dooku,
yeah.
Especially Book Dooku.
Yeah,
I'm serious. You get into the trade routes, and you're like, he's got a point. He's
got
a point.
We can't do this right now.
I know.
Right.
I'm just saying he has a point.
Your turn. What do you?
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
I have 2 from DC.
Okay.
So I have Zatanna, which I
love
Zatanna. She's probably not going to win, but just a shout out.
She's pretty cool.
The best.
Yeah.
And that's my vote for DC. If Doctor Strange or Doctor Fate doesn't count, Freudian slip. Doctor Fate, you know Doctor Fate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's a wizard. He got chosen by the Mask of Naboo, and like, I don't know if he was magical before that or if he had to study. The dude's fucking busted.
Yeah.
Crazy busted. So if he does count, you have to consider him.
He's magical, but
he's definitely magical.
It'd be the same thing like the Great Wizard Council or whatever that gave Shazam and Black Adam their powers and stuff. It gets.
I don't know if he was a wizard before. I should have done more research with him. I love Dr. Fate. I don't know a ton about
it's
him.
our list. We can just change it to magical.
Let me just read this. Chosen Bearer of Naboo, Lord of Order, often considered most powerful magical hero in DC. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you count him. I don't know how your Dr. Fate Lord.
Put him on whatever.
Is Dr. Fate a wizard?
No, idiot.
No, fucking idiot. It says sorcerer. So we're saying no to that?
Yeah.
A powerful sorcerer and agent of the Lords of Order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see this. Yeah, it says sorcerer. Okay. So my vote's Zatanna. I love Zatanna. She's a magician, which is a subset of wizard, I'd say, right?
Yeah.
And she's pretty good too. I mean, she's able to, get into some crazy reality bending stuff. And if we're talking comic books, Zatanna, if we're talking like DC animated shows, she's not great.
Well, that same with like Mxyzptlk, right? Like, what do you? I don't even know if he's a wizard or whatever, but he changes realities and does all weird.
But she is a wizard, and she can get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
And my comic book knowledge of her is very limited, but as all comic book characters are, she gets fucking broken at some point.
Right.
So, just a consideration.
Other considerations from the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah.
I think Dumbledore beats out Voldemort.
I think
Harry
it has
Potter.
to be Voldemort, but here's my argument. Okay, so you're saying like Dumbledore's the only guy he fears, which is true. That's fair.
The Voldemort fears, yeah.
Yeah, but Dumbledore couldn't beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Voldemort is slippery, kind of like a snake.
Yeah. Yeah, but Voldemort also couldn't beat
It was
Dumbledore.
a stalemate.
Yeah.
And then Dumbledore died first. Spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, who won? Who
won? But it wasn't like...
And you can't say it wasn't a 1v1 because
I guess what I'm
Voldemort
saying
was
is,
using his agents, but so was Dumbledore. So it's like it was a chess match,
yeah,
and he lost
but Dumbledore sacrificed himself
to win in the end.
Yeah, which takes more gumption.
But not power.
It takes more power. I think it takes a very powerful wizard to be like,
I mean, Voldemort literally lived. He split his soul into like 7 pieces.
Well,
that's just nuts.
because he hates dying
That's
so much.
nuts.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Harry Potter is the one that wins the game. I mean, the dude goes.
He stumbles in. Harry Potter's such an overrated guy. Like,
he goes in. He knows he has to sacrifice himself.
yeah.
Has the Stone of Resurrection. It was a brilliant play. It was a brilliant play. An amazing play. One of the best plays of all time.
I don't know
Top
about
5
that
play.
much.
Top 5 play.
Okay, sure. So you think Harry Potter should be on over Voldemort?
No, absolutely.
Well, then you
Harry
can't
Potter would
use-
get bodied by Voldemort.
Well, then, that's what I mean. But then you can't.
Are we
you
talking
can't
adult
use-
Harry Potter? That's
What does it
different argument.
matter?
When he's in Auror, he becomes busted.
Oh, well, I don't go into the.
I read the books.
I only do canon.
I read the books. That is canon. You read your Star Wars books, and I read my fan
But what
fiction.
I'm saying is, like, if Harry Potter beating Voldemort means that Harry Potter is better wizard, then
He beat him by dying. That's just outplaying him. Voldemort beat the shit out. I mean, Voldemort killed him.
Well, all right. So who do we put on this list here then?
That's really tough. I mean, Dumbledore is broken. And Dumbledore, dude, he had the Sorcerer's Stone, so he's like living forever too. Dumbledore's not a great guy.
Yeah, but he's Jude Law's pretty good.
Oh, he's great,
Yeah.
but he's not like a good person.
Who is? Who, dude? You put Sidious on the list. Like, I don't think this is a
Yeah, but
a
sometimes
good
you're
person
so
list.
bad it doesn't matter.
Gandalf's not really a good person either.
Gandalf's a better person than Dumbledore.
Gandalf and Dumbledore are basically the same guy.
That's blasphemous.
It's the same guy. They're
it's not.
using people around them to achieve their own ends with compassionate threads thrown in there just so you don't hate them as much.
They might be the same.
It's
guy.
the same
They might be
thing.
the same
Like
guy.
one has a sword and the other one has
They might
some
be the same guy.
chocolate
Dumbledore
frogs.
would body. Gandalf. Probably not. I mean, he's a god, but like I haven't seen him do anything.
Yeah, as long as Gandalf can't get close enough for a sword.
Sword in the face.
Dude, Gandalf's going to take his broadsword and just chop his Elder Wand straight in half. You kidding me?
That's awesome. That's also another thing. If Voldemort, yeah. Okay, I'll give it to Voldemort. Voldemort was pretty stupid. He didn't realize he didn't attune himself to the Elder Wand. If he did, it would have been over.
Yeah.
It would have been over.
Because, like, here's the
He
thing, though.
he didn't disarm Dumbledore. Snape did. So Snape was the rightful heir of the Elder
But
Wand.
you got to think, too, like, what about
And then-
Saruman then? Because, like, that's the same.
Sauron?
Yeah, it's like the. It's this-
Sauron's good, but I think it was established that Gandalf was stronger than him, right?
not when Gandalf's getting whipped around like a ragdoll in his tower.
Is that gray?
Yeah.
Yeah, but white Gandalf is OP because Sauron already ascended, right? He was white already. White robes. Is that what that means?
I don't
know.
think that's what that means, but
He had white robes on. That's what I
sure.
think.
Yeah, that's I don't think that's.
I have to ask. That's a David question.
Yeah, David
Like,
can kind of.
David could chime in on that.
I don't believe
you
that's-
have to put
that's
Gandalf
accurate,
on
but-
it before Sauron, though.
Gandalf is
The dude lost to a bunch of hobbits.
Well, that's
The dude went back to the Shire and lost.
right, but
How do you lose against
Gandalf got the pieces moving, as did
Yeah.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, no, okay. I mean, I'm fine with Dumbledore. I just think Voldemort needs a shout. He's pretty
Sure.
good. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
He lived for like ever. Could have almost. He almost got there.
Yeah. All right, what else you got?
Doctor Strange.
Sorcerer Supreme.
Dude, he's a wizard though. Like he
I'll
literally
put-
taught
I'll
himself magic.
Put him on the list. I just wanted to call it out because
I-
somebody else will.
I understand they call him Sorcerer Supreme, but he's not a He's like actually the opposite.
Sure.
He was a doctor.
Yeah.
He had no inherent magical abilities. He literally had to learn it all. If that's not a wizard, I don't know what it is. Put him on.
He's on.
Wizard Supreme.
He's on.
We're gonna get that
Wizard
changed.
Supreme.
Wizard Supreme.
Keep
That's all I
going.
had. That's all I had.
That's
That's all I
it's a
had.
short list. Yeah.
Short list. I was gonna look at like because I saw a couple lists with like someone from Wheel of Time.
I just don't know.
I was gonna
don't know
like
them enough.
ask Kyle to give me like a synopsis of why this person's great, and I didn't have time.
Yeah. Why is Perrin great? All right, so we have Karsus, Merlin, Gandalf, Sidious, Zatanna, Dumbledore, Doctor Strange.
Okay. The Merlin's on, right?
I think you. I mean, we can. Do you think Merlin beats out Dumbledore?
Oh well, we have to cut some people, right?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Why did you start with one of the hardest ones?
I actually think it's one of the easiest ones.
You think yes?
Well, I think Zatanna's pretty easy.
Yeah.
To nix.
I know.
I don't want it to be like just a
Makes
sausage
me sad.
fest, but
It is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring some representation to
I
the
appreciate
squad
it,
here.
yeah.
You give me 0.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. That's that. I love Zatanna though. She's
I think
so
Zatanna, but my thing would be it would either be Merlin or Karsus. You know more about
To cut?
Karsus. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because well, think about it. Like unless you had that hard conversation of Gandalf versus like Dumbledore, but Doctor Strange is just completely OP.
Yeah.
As soon as you bring him into the conversation, he's like, "That's a lock."
Yep. I don't think so.
I think Sidious is a lock.
Yes.
Again, like you
Sidious is a lock.
can't die. You're jumping around. You manipulate everyone. Doctor Strange, you're literally going back in time and saving the entire universe.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
He could have just made that all up.
He could have and just lucked out hardcore.
Yeah. What if his luck stats just like a million?
That rat just happened to hit the right thing at the right time. And it was just like, oh, thank goodness.
Oh, thank God.
He was getting worried.